Hello there, hi, I'm Uzo Ijueri and welcome to another episode of Power Up Bites. I'm the head of Augment Results, where I help entrepreneurs that are service-based apply strategy to their vision and grow their businesses. Thank you for joining me again tonight. I keep saying I do apologize. For some reason, I'm really nervous, and I think that's probably because I haven't had enough time to prepare for today. I've had so much on this week, and you know what it's like. Life gets in the way, work gets in the way. But I really was committed to having this done for you because I've started to try to get into a regular schedule. And I do know that some people do come and watch and get a few tips on a Friday at lunchtime, but I wasn't able to make it today. So yes, so here I am. So we're in the part 2 of the business building series, and today we're going to be talking about positioning. To recap, I'll just talk about what I spoke about in the first business building episode, and I actually wanted to thank replay viewers as well for joining in. I know some people will be live, some people won't, but thank you for watching. So going back to what I discussed last Friday about business building, I was giving the 4 steps to successful business building. And business building forms the foundation of any business. And most times, entrepreneurs, especially people that haven't been in a business, maybe they worked in-house somewhere and then they jumped into business. You know, they had a wonderful idea, they wanted to change their life, they've jumped in and gone straight ahead to, oh, I've got this great idea, I'm going to create this service and I'm going to sell it. And the clients, well, certainly the clients that come to me, once we dig a little deeper, we find that they haven't actually designed their business very well. And so as it's moving forward, a few of the cracks begin to show. So I went through the 3 steps to creating, the 4 steps to creating a good business design. And it was really based around creating value, conveying value, and capturing value. So that's what I spoke about. And I remembered this morning that I had promised a few people that I would upload, I would create a workbook that you could follow and upload that. Now, as you can see, I actually did create the workbook, but I haven't uploaded it yet. But I will endeavor to do that as soon as possible. I do apologize. Okay, great. So let's move on to part 2 of business building, which is about positioning your business. So what's positioning? It's very simple. It's where you decide to be in the marketplace. And it's really that sweet spot where your company offers a service that is highly valued and demanded by its ideal customers. And the word uniqueness tends to be bantered around quite a bit, or you want to be unique. Personally, I think it's quite difficult to be unique in today's marketplace. Markets are moving really quickly, and there's a shift now. Lots of business, lots of people want to get into the entrepreneurial pool, and so they'll do things. And I am a firm believer there's nothing new under the sun. Things happen and have happened and keep getting rehashed. But those people that are doing a wonderful job are the ones that, my computer's talking to me, the ones that are doing a great job and are standing out in the marketplace are the ones that are finding that little tweak that they can apply to something that has already existed. I think that's the brilliance of things like, companies like Uber. Uber really did not create anything new. It created a new process of delivering a service that's already in existence. So there was little education in the marketplace. You didn't have to educate people on getting a taxi. They understood that. What was changed was the method by which you got the taxis. And that's where brilliance lies. It's those little tweaks, the things that already exist. So let's go straight on to talking about deciding how to position yourself. Now, how do you decide as a service-based entrepreneur on where you're going to position yourself? In business design, we spoke about understanding your who and your what. That's who your ideal customer is and what it is they want from you. And also understanding exactly how you're going to deliver that service to them. Now, to understand where to position yourself, you really need to be analyzing all the data and the information you've put together at the business design stage. So understanding who your customer is, being clear on the use case. What are their needs? That's what use case means. What are their needs, and how do you deliver those needs to them? Understanding how you differ from your closest competitor. That's really important in terms of, I'm a business coach, a business strategist. There are millions all over the world. How do I convince my ideal customer to come with me? And it might be that my ideal customers are maybe 50,000 people in the whole world that will really click with my values and the way I like to work, and what my specialty is, and my ability to combine head and heart strategies because of my previous experience and my training. Those different criteria, what makes me interesting to a particular person and what makes me different from another business strategist. So understanding that, and then comparing all that criteria around, who your customer is, your use case, your differentiators, and comparing all of that to the value that delivers to customers, is what will help you decide where exactly you're going to position yourself. Now, I could use a lot of diagrams and things to work through this, but I thought the best way to actually thanks, Faith. I thought the best way to actually discuss this, or try to get some thinking around it, was to use case studies. I use case studies a lot in my work, in my training classes, in my workshops, and I think they land really well. So let's take McDonald's and Burger King as a great case study. Both of those companies provide burgers. They sell burgers. That is the premise of the business. When you delve a little bit deeper, you start to look at the differences and how they've managed to differentiate themselves in that burger space. So they have the same customer. The customers want to buy burgers. They are interested in meat. They like patties. Great. Now, how does McDonald's make itself different from a Burger King? Now, one interesting thing that McDonald's has done is create this whole big strategy around the breakfast part of the day. Now, there are not very many fast food restaurants in the United Kingdom, at least. I mean, America's a different ballgame. But in the United Kingdom, not very many that are open 24 hours a day, selling burgers at all hours of the day. And they've made a whole big thing about breakfast. They'll advertise their breakfast service. Drop by, you're on your way to work, you have this cranky kid, come in. That breakfast section, it's offering burgers in a different format, but it's serving the needs of a specific market segment. On the other hand, Burger King doesn't have that offering. At least I've never seen a breakfast offering at Burger King. But Burger King differentiates itself by offering a semi-gourmet burger, because if you look at the size of the burger at Burger King as opposed to the size of the burgers at McDonald's, they're quite different. They're bigger and they're more akin to the types of burgers you would get if you went into a restaurant to have a sit-down meal. They're akin to, they're bigger patties. I believe they're better made in terms of they're not really dry patties. And so you feel a different experience in that. So that's one differentiator, for instance. Let's see, what other things are different between McDonald's and Burger King? Well, you get the gist. You see what I mean by differentiating themselves in the marketplace, even though they're serving the same market segment. Yes? If you take another example, for instance, let's use a very popular one, LinkedIn and Facebook. Now, LinkedIn and Facebook are based on the similar premise of promoting, building communities and encouraging the development of relationships, making connections, and basically just working together in a community form. But Facebook and LinkedIn couldn't be more different. LinkedIn has always targeted professionals. Facebook has gone more the social route. It started off with lots of friends, be popular, have friends, great friends. and then it entered into a business proposition way further down in its development. But at the very premise of it, it's a social platform as opposed to a professional platform that LinkedIn provides. When you look at the people that are targeted, the age range of those on LinkedIn is different to those that you would find on Facebook. I mean, now we older ones are going on Facebook and getting there, but traditionally it was kids in college. That's who was meant to appeal to. I remember my younger brother was one of the very, very, very first people to be on Facebook because he went to university in America. And it started off in Mark Zuckerberg's university, and then he offered it to other universities in a specific area. So he was one of the first people to get on the Facebook platform just on the basis that he was in university in an American institution. So you can see what the thinking was back at its inception. As opposed to LinkedIn, which came out with the premise of we are going to help people build businesses, find jobs. It was almost like a challenge to a Read website where you would employees and employers would come together and look for jobs. This was almost a social way of finding work, but it was definitely very clearly a professional focus. That's the clientele that they were serving. Now, what I'm trying to highlight as I use these use cases, these case studies, is that even though as a small business owner, a service-based entrepreneur, you are in competition with a vast number of other service entrepreneurs that might be offering the same exact service that you do. However, you have the power to differentiate yourself so that you attract very quickly that segment that you want to serve. So I ask you to ask yourself today, so where are you going to position yourself? How are you going to differentiate yourself from someone else? If you're an entertainer, if you're a chef, if you own a wellness business, if you are, you work in, business development and strategy, what is that? Where are the places, the little pockets that you can position yourself, stand out, but also, but stand out primarily through the service that you deliver. For instance, with me, I offer something called a strategy bundle, and that came to me from a client. I'd been contacted, I do strategy sessions, I was offering one-off strategy sessions, and she said to me, I wish I could have you all year round, but I don't really want to have a every month interaction. I'm not that kind of person. I don't need that, but I want to have quarterly meetings with you, and I want to know that I have that quarterly meeting because it makes me feel accountable. So I'm working towards our next meeting, and I thought, yeah, I can. But you know that you're working with me for the long haul. So that's one way that I've differentiated myself from others. Some people do want to work with you full time, all the time. I've never really felt that need. And so I appeal to a certain type of person who's like me, who's results driven and actually wants to be held accountable, but doesn't want that very full on engagement the whole time. And so it works. So today's bite's really short because frankly, I've had a long day. But I just wanted to get you thinking about how you position yourself and think about that strategically for your business growth so that you aren't second guessing yourself and constantly shifting and changing your approach to things. You'll try something for a little bit, it won't work. If you set these foundations from the very get-go, then your focus and your direction is set. And then it's about tweaking rather than completely changing direction. That just wastes time. You're starting from the beginning the whole time, rebuilding and rebuilding rather than tweaking and shifting as you need to. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, thank you so much for watching. joining me tonight. Thank you to all the replay viewers. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please do share it, like it, make comments, tell people about it. You never know. Someone might be just waiting for this free advice. You know, I've learned over the last 6 months that it's very easy to assume that people know things that you do. And, you know, the things I know, I assume a lot of people should know. To me, this basic knowledge. And I'm surprised over and over again how what I find to be quite basic information is so useful to somebody else. So please do share and talk to others about this and let them know what you've learned. And thank you very much for watching. I'm so sorry, Tamra, you've just joined and I'm about to get off, unless you have any questions. And now a lot of people, should I just sit here and just wait and maybe someone will ask me a question? Because I've finished the whole presentation now. Okay, all right. I'm going to let you guys watch the replay while I go and play checkers with my kids. So thank you so much. Have a good evening and see you next week for the third video in this series, the business building series. Just to recap, last week we talked about business design. Today we talked about positioning. Next Friday we're going to be talking about systems, your operating model, and how you actually do all of this stuff, put this stuff together to create a strategy map for yourself and for your business. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Have a great weekend. Take care.